Hello, this is Fear Dragon coming at you with another StarCraft 2 netcast. Today we have game number 3 between these two players in the finals of the EU ZOTAC Cup number 159. If you have not seen game number 1 or game number 2, please click on the annotation below and it'll take you to those videos. But if you're still around, I'm going to assume you have, and we're going to go ahead and jump in and introduce these players. Spawning up here in the top left-hand corner of the map, we have the yellow Zerg player representing Team Navi. It is going to be NaviMinato. And his opponent spawning down here in the bottom right-hand corner of the map as the red Zerg player, currently up 2-0 against his opponent. It is going to be AcerNerchio. Both these players very strong, but Nerchio has just been taking a bit of a lead. I think that Nerchio feels very comfortable in the ZVZ matchup. And Minato has been struggling a little bit. Minato has been going for he's tried going for some all-ins in the past 2 games, but Nerchio really does know how to get up to Mutalis and capitalize on the fact that once he does get those Mutalis out. So would likely be expecting him to do something very similar in this game. It's kind of shown that he's not afraid to go for a 2-base fast Mutalis, even if he shows it to his opponent by throwing down some additional spine crawlers and hiding that spire in a location that actually is not that well hidden. It could actually be very easily scouted by some Overlord. Still ends up doing quite well. But in the meanwhile, we do have a spawning pool first opening coming from Nerchio, and in the meanwhile, Minato going for the hatchery first. Nothing huge going on right now, but you know, just a couple of interesting little openings. Now, I kind of like what Nerchio is doing over here. He's going to scout out, make sure that his opponent is grabbing the hatchery at the right time. He can see exactly when that hatchery is grabbed just by how far along it is when the Overlord gets there. And then, of course, he's just going to retreat it back over here. He doesn't want it to get sniped off by any kind of overstretching queens and whatnot. And behind this, both the players are going to be going for those extractors. And Minato just going to go straight over to the natural expansion. Going to make sure that he gets a good vision, and then he's going to retreat. Not going to go over to the same location as Nerchio is, where he can hide up on that high ground. But again, it is kind of hard to snipe the Overlords anyways, up until you actually get out Mutalis. So not expecting a whole lot from there. But now we're going to see the spawning pool start to finish up for Minato a little bit later than his opponent. But Nerchio not really doing a whole lot with the spawning pool other than starting those queens. He wants to make sure he can get those larva injects out ASAP. And then eventually, I assume, he's going to make a set of 2. Oh, he does have 2 Zerglings actually already out on the map. So they will be able to move out across the map to go ahead and scout out his opponent. Do a little bit of harassment maybe, but of course Minato will have his own 2 Zerglings popping out in just a couple of seconds. So we'll end up seeing the 2v2 Zergling micro. It looks like Minato definitely going to take the advantage on that, but Nerchio doesn't really want to engage at all. He actually just wants to get a little bit of scouting information to make sure that his opponent is producing drones and whatnot, and going to go ahead and send those Zerglings home, possibly to just have a little bit of reinforcement from these queens at home. Keep those Zerglings alive for as long as possible, just because they can be a vital scouting tool for later on. Now, it looks like both their Zergling speeds relatively similarly timed, although Nerchio does have like a 10-second lead. Not the biggest deal, but it's something, especially if we end up seeing both these players kind of running from each other back and forth with their speed Zerglings. You might be able to kill off 1 or 2 additional Zerglings of Minato, or at least be able to save 1 or 2 of his own Zerglings, depending on who has more at the time. But here's the interesting play. We actually have Minato going for a very fast evolution chamber. So this looks like he wants to probably go for a very fast +1 Carapace upgrade, and then maybe go for a big speedling aggression attack. There is the Carapace upgrade going down. Another evolution chamber going down. So it looks like we're going to be seeing something similar to what we saw in one of those previous games. We're going to go for a +1/+1 timing attack. And, I mean, it is going to be before Nerchio's 1-1, actually, since these 2 evolution chambers just slightly more delayed, considering Carapace upgrades has already been started for Minato when the evolution chambers are just going to be going up for Nerchio. And Nerchio is going to have the +1 armor and +1 melee attacks upgrade relatively soon after his opponent, but is it going to be in time? As long as Minato knows this exact time, he hits exactly when +1/+1 finishes up, he might be able to do a lot of damage to that big speedling attack. And you have to remember that Nerchio loving going for these high gas counts and going for a very fast layer tech and going into very fast Mutalisk play. So we'll end up seeing if he decides to do something similar once again. Not quite mining out of that third gas geyser, and now just going to put those guys in, and wouldn't be too surprised to see him take this fourth gas geyser sometime soon. No, not going to be taking it for a little bit. So I'm kind of curious what he's going to be doing off of 3 gas geysers. He's definitely going to be able to produce a good number of Banelings. We can even see he's actually producing a good number of Zerglings, and at the same time, Minato, I love what he's doing over here. He's kind of just hiding those Zerglings away from Nerchio's scouting vision right now. So if Nerchio, even if he sends in a little Zergling to try and scout out his opponent, it's going to be a little bit harder to get back over to this location and actually see it. And at the same time, he's taking that third expansion. Nerchio responding and doing the exact same thing, and Minato just going to send out a couple of Zerglings, make sure he can scout out his opponent, and only with a few Zerglings, so he doesn't want to alert his opponent to the massive number of Speedlings that have been created so far. He's going to try and catch his opponent off guard and basically just say, well, you know what? You just won't have enough time or larva to actually keep up with how many Zerglings I just made. It looks like Nerchio should now know what is going on. He's sending all the Zerglings all the way across the map. 2 Zerglings do manage to make it into the main base. They see the layer timing, they see that the Baneling Nest is done, and the fact that double evolution chambers have gone down. Now we end up seeing Minato coming in with a huge swarm of Zerglings, but at the same time making their way over to the natural expansion. No way that Nerchio can defend that third expansion, so it's some guaranteed damage, and he managed to get a cancel off on it. At the same time, some Banelings getting some okay hits over here from Minato. Oh my god, Nerchio actually getting some really big hits over there on Minato's Zerglings, and I am actually not sure if Minato's going to be able to do too much more damage. Now, Minato has actually been able to do some good damage at canceling that third expansion, but look at how many Zerglings and Banelings are left over for Nerchio. What will Minato be able to do if there is a big counterattack swing? I'm not too sure. There are still a couple of Zerglings for Minato trying to just be continuously aggressive over here. But will they be able to continue the aggression any longer? It doesn't look like it, but a nice little swing of Zerglings is actually going to be going for a little bit of a counterattack. But they get surrounded, actually, by Nerchio Zerglings, and that's actually going to be pretty big, because, I mean, again, Nerchio has all these Banelings and all these Zerglings. He's going to be able to go very, very heavy on the counter-aggression. The Baneling actually getting a huge hit over there. And Minato is just not controlling his Zerglings as well as Nerchio is controlling his Banelings. And now Nerchio has a big Zergling lead against his opponent. 42 Zerglings to 15 Zerglings, and not to mention there are even a few Banelings in there. So now Nerchio going to be moving all the way over to the main base. Managed to snipe off a Queen. Going to be going after a couple of those drones as well. Sniping off whatever Zerglings he can. He's going to continue to rally Zerglings across the map. He's not even going to have to utilize his lair tech as of right now. It doesn't look like it. Because the Zerglings are still just running rampant in that main base. And I have to say, Minato has done a really good job of keeping a lot of those drones alive. Only 4 drones have fallen. How is that even possible? Minato doing some great drone micro with all those Zerglings over in the main base, but I'm not sure if it's going to be enough. A large number of Banelings actually morphing in for Nerchio. And some of those Banelings from Minato try and detonate on Nerchio's Banelings, but it looks like the Banelings going to make their way into the drone line, going to be able to get some pretty big hits off over there, as now we can see Nerchio definitely taking a little bit of a lead over there. But again, you have to remember, as long as Minato can hold all this off, he's not in the worst position. Oh my god, actually he's lost a ton of drones. He is in a pretty bad position. I take it back, 21 drones to 46, and Nerchio continuing to just be aggressive with all these Zerglings. And even though there are some Roaches out on the map, Roach is going to be a pretty good choice against Zerglings, but these Zerglings do have +1/+1. And, of course, the Roach is only sitting on +1 armor, and Nerchio finally going to have to retreat just a little bit back further. But he's going to be retaking that third expansion behind all of this. And in the meanwhile, as long as he can defend against this big Roach aggression from Minato, he's going to be sitting very, very comfortably. Already has +2/+2 on the way. He's going to be continuing to keep Minato at home with this large number of Zerglings, just constantly being as aggressive as he can, running straight past all of the defenses and going straight to the drone line. Picking off even a single drone over here is actually going to be really, really good for Nerchio, because he's, one, keeping his opponent's units back at home, whereas only a couple of these Roaches can actually move out across the map to be offensive, but also taking out a substantial portion of the economy. When you only have 20 drones, taking out even one of them is going to be very, very critical damage. Now, we do end up seeing these Roaches getting surrounded, but Minato is going to have his reinforcing Zerglings coming out, but another reinforcing wave of Zerglings come out for Nerchio. It looks like Minato should be able to take this engagement, though, because remember, he does also have +1/+1 finished up, and Nerchio only just now going to be finishing up +2/+2, so in just a couple seconds, Nerchio will have that upgrade advantage once again. But the Roaches, the vital important part of all of this, they are just tanking so much damage from all those Zerglings and those Banelings. Now the Banelings are going to be coming in for Nerchio, looking for hits on those Zerglings. It looks like they haven't managed to get too many good hits. The Roach is actually unable to really deal with a lot of those Banelings and Zerglings, it looks like. So they are going to, for the most part, be decimated. It looks like Minato realizes what a terrible position he's in at this point. He's going to GG, can toss out the congratulations, and it looks like AcerNerchio with the 3-0 sweep, going to take the entire series and the tournament of EU ZOTAC Cup number 159. Congratulations to AcerNerchio. He played quite fantastically and really showed that he knows his ZVZ as well as some of his other matchups. So once again, congratulations to him, and that's pretty much going to be it for the tournament, guys. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. Hopefully you guys enjoyed my commentary in any capacity whatsoever, in which case, if you did, please go ahead and subscribe, leave a comment, and all that other good stuff. And of course, you can follow me on Twitter over at twitter.com/FearDragon64. And if you have any other casting inquiries, you want me to cast a show match or any of replays that you actually have, please send those over to FearDragon64@gmail.com. Thank you so much, guys. I've had a lot of fun actually casting the EU ZOTAC Cup number 159. And yeah, I'll probably just be going back looking for a couple of stray replays that I can cast in the meanwhile. But hopefully you guys enjoyed the games and the series. And with that being said, thank you so much once again. See you guys next time.